Thank you for being patient. We opened the meeting earlier, went into executive session, and now we're reconvening here. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular public meeting of April 7th, 2025? Ms. Longer Richards, Mr. Reddy can second. Any comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstained? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the first closed session of the meeting of April 7th, 2025? Mr. Bigman? Was that a raised hand, Mr. Lawrence? Mr. Lawrence can second. Any comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the second closed session of the meeting of April 7th, 2025? Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Bigman can second. Any comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. All right, we have one presentation tonight. Let me turn it over to you, Dr. Diskin, just get it started.
Thank you. This evening we had two presentations on the docket. The first one, unfortunately, we're going to reschedule due to an unforeseen circumstance. Ms. Salazar is not able to be here tonight. But we do have Jenny Graff and the art department, Linda Kim, and her students here to present the Scholastic Art Awards. So carry on.
Okay, it's on now. Thank you. As the Director of Humanities, I have the privilege of working with multiple departments within the district, one of which is the art department. In Millburn, and I may be biased, but we have one of the best art departments around. And if anyone has been to our art show, you can see that of all the paintings and all the drawings and everything hanging around the high school, which we had about a month ago. The students pour their heart and soul into everything they do, as well as the teachers. And tonight I have Miss Kim, one of our amazing teachers here, to talk to us a little bit about the National Scholastic Awards and the results. You'll see some of her high school students. So we have Reagan Heinrichs, Obenawa from Poma, Yuvi Chatahari, and Esther Hung. You'll get to see throughout this presentation some of the amazing artwork that they have done. So I want to turn it over to Miss Kim. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. We're so excited. We were planning this for quite some time. We've just had a banner year. For those of you that don't know or are unfamiliar with what the Scholastic Awards are, the Scholastic Art and Writing competition is the most renowned, most famous, most widely revered art contest in our nation. So the results that we have to present to you this evening and the results of these amazing students before you, these are all of our gold national winners here this evening, represent just like an amazing program, dedication, hard work from all of us, and we're just so excited. So just to give you sorry. I got it. All right. Just some background. Okay, so this year we won, just at the regional level, 169 awards. Now, that number is truly staggering. This is just a little, like, I'm a math girl too, and I just wanted to kind of give you a context of where Millburn stands in terms of other high schools in our area, and just what this number means. And so regional awards, this is significant for a number of reasons. First of all, it's significant just in its sheer number in itself. So in 2023, we earned 44 awards. In 2024, we doubled that number to 94. This year, 169. But a second reason that is, thank you. A second reason that is very amazing is because we not just expanded the number of awards we could win, we expanded in our competition. So previously, regional awards is kind of like Northern New Jersey. We were a part of the Northern New Jersey group. However, there's something that happened like on their level that they disbanded that group, and then we became thrown into what's called Region at Large East. So we started competing this year with the entire Eastern Seaboard, everywhere from like Maine all the way down to Florida. And I was honestly pretty scared. I was like, guys, you know, I know we won lots of stuff in the past, but like let's just do our best and see what happens. And we were just floored at the results. I mean, when we got it, I mean, I think I just ran into Dr. Myron's office screaming, oh my goodness, texting all of my students like, through school approved apps and emails. So congratulations, so excited. And we're just so happy. So that expanded competition really made us feel like, wow, we really have a shot at nationals this year. So and then we had more gold keys ever than we've ever had. And for the first time, we've also had students being recognized for their portfolios, which is another category of excellence that just is incredible. So what I'm gonna do is, so just talking to more numbers, just like 340,000 entries for art. Roughly 5% of those entries get regional golds, and those regional golds, there's gold, silver, and honorable mention, but only the golds get to go to national competition, and that's, and from there, they choose 1 to 5% at most. So that just really says a lot. Going back to regional awards, I mean, just the number that we had, I mean, Millburn High School took 11% of all the awards in New Jersey for regions. And I didn't do the numbers for the national. It's just the document was too big, and they don't do Excel spreadsheets, which is kind of annoying. But I could sit there and I would wrap it up for you if asked. But okay, I'm just gonna move on. So these are our national gold results. Our national winners will be honored in Carnegie Hall for an all-day event on June 11th, where they'll meet all other gold medal winners. They get this special, workshops. Their work is hung in their galleries. It's really, really, really special. And then there's this keynote speakers, like Whoopi Goldberg has spoken, like Andy Warhol has spoken, Joyce Carol Oates has spoken. These are, this is like, again, the top of the top. And so it's an incredibly special evening, and we're really excited. These young students and their families will be invited to that ceremony that evening, and we'll be with them. So I'm gonna just get to the fun stuff. I'm gonna now present to you, these are the two categories that we're gonna go over this evening are the individual awards for pieces, and then we're going to go into portfolios. So you'll see all this writing, and at your leisure, you can these are the kind of like what they're asked to submit. So they submit their category, their title, their medium, and then the category that they're competing in, sculpture, graphic design, etc., and then a little blurb about what their piece means or what they thought about when they created it, which I think is super special. So I'm going to ask Reagan to come up and just share her experience with this competition, the art program, and everything else.
Hi, I'm Reagan Heinrichs. Thank you. This is my art piece. It is a 3D stone sculpture, and I think it's really cool that the art department allows us to do such complex pieces of work. Like, I've never seen another school take a block of stone and just like carve it. There's no limits in this department, and I think that is a really special thing. I came into high school not liking art, but not knowing what I wanted to do with it. So I've done every single level of art throughout high school, and it's been a great experience, and it's caused me to even further that interest into my major in college for interior design, which I think is really fun, and I'm grateful for the program. Yeah, I don't have much else to say, but yeah.
And congratulations to Reagan, who just committed today to Virginia Tech. We're so proud. And our next student, Yuvi.
Yeah, hello. My name is Yuvraj Chaudhary. I'm in grade 11, currently in Miss Kim's AP2 class. Since the beginning of high school, I started off first in honors art and working my way up to AP and AP2. In addition to art, I also do robotics, and it's kind of been hard to kind of merge and intersect the two areas of study. But one thing the art program does really well is because of its very small sized classes, because Miss Kim is able to focus on each student one-on-one individually, we're able to kind of work around my schedule and allow me to like keep processing pieces consistently while working around the schedule of robotics. And that's kind of, it's not on my script, but I really wanted to give a big thanks to Miss Kim, because throughout the years, she has taken enormous responsibility of basically governing the entirety of the arts curriculum by herself. Multiple times in the year, she's woken up, I know this, at like 4 a.m. to compile spreadsheets to help us out. Consistently been on Scholastic documents throughout the entire year, making sure that everything is on time. Nobody hears about anything in art faster than Miss Kim does, and she emails us right away. That is the reason why the program is so special. That is the reason why we're able to do so much this year, last year, and we will continue to be like doing great things. We have, I think, all fives last year. Hopefully this year, I think it'll happen. If not, we have an extremely good curriculum that will allow the students to prosper for years to come. So I just wanted to give Ms. Kim a really big thank you for like everything you did.
You would think I paid him. Thank you. It's really sweet. No, I mean, really, I'm so honored as a teacher to be able to work with the talented students in this district. This is also off strict, but I've been a teacher for, I think, about 8 years, and I've worked at a number of districts, but I always say Millburn it's so special, and I'm so lucky to be here, and I really love our kids and our department. So thank you for all your support. I was, just sitting here thinking about so many and looking at so many people in this room that have supported our department, Dr. Diskin, Ms. Graff, Dr. Myron, and just without, and so many others, parents I recognize, so thank you. Okay, so without ado, I'm going to talk about, so Esther Hong we're going to parlay into the portfolio awards. Esther Hong also won an individual award, so you see an individual gold here for this piece. Obenawa also has a gold single piece here. Eliana Goodman, who's not with us today, silver on these two pieces. Colby Behrens, who's a student of Kathy Riley in her digital art class, CPA class. And this is like another thing I'd like to point out is the strength of our department isn't just in one teacher or an AP program. It is in every level. As Reagan said, she came in and she experienced art as in semester classes, like kind of just stumbled into it, then took an honors class, and then challenged herself again and took an AP class. And there's so many wonderful stories in our school, and often that's the case. Some of these guys, off the bat, they know that art's something that they love, but so often it's an experience that you kind of fall into. So we're really grateful that, arts is offered for freshmen and encouraged and supported. But I'm going to start with Obenawa. Obenawa won the National Gold Portfolio Award. This is the peak of the peak, right? So this is 8 students in the entire, 340,000 that are awarded the $12,000 scholarship for the 6 pieces that they submit. This is, career-wise, this is probably the only example I'll ever have. I mean, hopefully more, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised and I'd be very happy. So this is super special. And you know, it's less than I think I forgot a zero, less than 0.01% when I was doing the math. It was just so small. But I'm going to invite Obenawa up here just to speak a little bit about her work and her experience here.
Okay, thank you, guys. Okay, so basically, my name is Obenawa. I am a senior, and I'm in Mrs. Kim's art consortium class, which is like a senior. The mural class. Yeah, we make murals for the school. Really exciting. So basically, I started out in honors freshman year, and then I went to AP1, and I took AP2 junior year, and then now I'm taking consortium. So I've also kind of like gone through the whole shebang of our amazing art program, and I just wanted to like do a little short thing about what my portfolio was about. So for Scholastic, they asked for 6 pieces, but basically all of my pieces were made in my AP2 and AP1 classes. So without having taken this class, I probably wouldn't have created any of these pieces. Oh yeah, okay. So basically my portfolio is centered around how a Black girl finds her voice. Similar to how UV talks about how he's like working with integrating his robotics passions with his art, I also use a lot of my passion in writing and music and history to talk about race and identity. I use charcoal, a bunch of other colors to kind of represent the multi-dimensionality of experiences, particularly like minority experiences. A lot of the works are very personal to me, but also kind of talk to a collective array of what it means to be a human being, which is to have to reference your family, to reference your culture, to reference your passions, all in who you are. So I just want to talk about how I was able to do this in a span of like 2 years. So basically, what makes the art program so amazing for me is the rigor and constant like repetition of practice. So we do a lot of observational drawing and a lot of skill work, and it's kind of like an everyday thing. And like there's a lot of commitment that you have to be drawing like an orange multiple times until you get it right, which is basically what we were doing. And sometimes it seemed like why are we doing this? But like looking back, it's like without me understanding certain principles about like the fundamentals of drawing, I wouldn't be able to have the courage to stretch that and go into portraiture, which is basically my entire portfolio. So basically, one of the things that I love about our art program, particularly why I think Millburn is just so amazing in their art program, is because their standard of excellence is so high, and you cannot just settle for a mediocre. Like Mrs. Kim was constantly telling me to like not be afraid of pushing an idea. So this piece actually particularly, I would have never thought that I could have drawn a 6-foot painting, but I did, and I was and I was so comfortable drawing in my sketchbook, and I just remember staying after school until like 5:30, and we were like talking like, how do we push this further? How do we think about this idea in another way? It's a lot of inquiry, it's a lot of ideation, and I'm taking all of these skills into my like personal work and my major hopefully in college. So there's just an intentionality and a persistence and basically like not fearing taking risks in any of my art that can be used in like basically the rest of my life, is to not be afraid of taking risk with your work. And I also just wanted to very quickly say that the commitment and the investment that Mrs. Kim has in every single student is just so crazy to me, and it is the only reason why I can think of myself as an artist. Like, the encouragement that she gives me, like every single day when I'm like, oh my God, what the heck am I doing? It's like, it's a personal connection, and it's a stewardship and a guidance that like I just have never experienced with any, I'm gonna say like any teacher, basically. So, yeah, thank you.
I promise I'm not paying them. But thank you so much. It's, again, like, I am so blessed. And, Obenawa is just, it's her work, it is 5 feet tall, this one. That's actually real fake cotton at the bottom. So it's an installation piece. And I think that, she's so right. Just the daily practice and what we do day in, day out, it really reaps rewards. I know that like Millburn is a really difficult place for kids sometimes, but I always tell them, I'm like, guys, you guys are all rock stars. Every single person in this room, I don't care, if you're like where you are in your class. Like I always say at back to school night, our top 90% it's not the top 10% that makes it, it's the top 90, I'd say 95%. And that those bottom 5, they're going to catch up to, really. And that's different than any other school district I've ever worked in. And, the commitment that I have to them is only there because I see that in them. I feel they deserve it. And I am so honored. And, and the outcome is just, I wish I could take all the credit, but it's really them. It's amazing. This is another 5-foot panel piece. It was too big for her to take home, so she cut it up, and it's kind of like a stained glass. The other one just remained in the room, like she just drew it at school on the wall. We just cleared a wall for her. But if you saw her sketchbooks, I wish we brought them. It's really her sketchbook, expanded. And then the next artist I'm going to introduce is Esther Hong. Esther Hong, she won an honorable mention portfolio award, which again makes her in the top 1% of those portfolios nationwide. But she not only was set apart and recognized in her Scholastic Awards, but she was also awarded, sorry, I think I put this slide too far. Okay, she's a Danforth Scholar at Washington University. Washington University receives over 33,000 applications for their freshman class to get to about 1,800. And she was selected from that 1,800 to interview and be selected as one of the 4 students to be a Danforth Scholar, which gets their 100% merit tuition. On top of it, there's all these, she was flown over to WashU with those, the selected panel. She was, literally in China on vacation with her family, and moved her flight so that she could attend a 5-hour interview with this crazy panel of professors and artists and all sorts of things, past scholars, and that I just, to be recognized in that kind of caliber, we're just so proud. And she's recognized for her service as well as her academics and her art. So I'm just so excited this is her work, a little sneak preview, to just invite Esther to come talk to you guys.
Hi, I'm Esther. I'm a senior, and I'm currently in Miss Kim's AP2 class. And honestly, if I could talk for longer, I would, about how incredible the art department is, because I can say that I've gone through every aspect of art that's offered at Millburn High School. So in my freshman year, I did half a semester of Intro to Sculpture, so that's 3D. I did half a semester of Digital Art and Design, so that's digital art. And then in 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, I did honors and then AP 1 and 2 for 2D art. And it really just is incredible because I've seen all of the resources that Millburn has for every single branch of art that you can possibly think of. I know that Reagan and UV and Obenawa all touched on how much the teachers pour into their students, and I just honestly have to echo that. I don't want it to be overkill, but the amount that the teachers pour into for their students is incredible. Like, I know even on breaks over the summer, I've like come into school and just workshopped my art with Miss Kim. Over just last spring break, she had meetings lined up like every single day with all of her students who are trying to submit the portfolio in the upcoming month. And it's just crazy to see the amount of dedication that she puts, even when she doesn't have to. It's not even her working time. And it just really, none of us could have accomplished anything without all of the guidance. And I feel like what makes the art department so strong is because it's so personalized. Like, not only are there so many resources and so many teachers, there are so many different levels of art that you can pursue. So that's why it's so encouraged for every student. It doesn't matter if you're an introductory level or intermediate or super advanced, whatever. The teachers will do everything to help you reach your full potential in art. And it's super incredible to see how the art department has brought me not only this scholastic recognition at the national level, but honestly, a big part of my scholarship is due to my art. And there's nothing I could say more than thank you to all of you. And
Yeah, this is not a photograph. This is actually a pastel piece. Yeah, it's crazy looking. She made that last year in AP1, but we're just so proud. This is just a picture of all of us. So Ms. Voss and Ms. Riley, who are not here, and Colby and Eliana, we took a little picture in front of the school. But again, I just want to just call out recognition to my department, to Kathy Riley, to Christine Benson-Voss, who's the 3D teacher and Reagan's teacher in AP 3D, Keely Flack, Vince Dermody, and Jacqueline Hummer. We're a great team, and I like half the reason I came was just to work with them because they're so talented. And again, thank you so much for your time and all the efforts. I know it's like probably the last thing you want to be doing on a Monday night is come in here, but I just thank you for it because the work that you do here and the way you support our school is so meaningful to us, and we hope that our coming here to you just helps you remember that the work that you do is as important. And please stop by the art room anytime. Thank you.
Right in the middle. Thank you so much for that presentation, Mrs. Kim. And students, does anybody on the board have any questions or comments for the group? Oh, Miss Diskin first? Miss Diskin, Dr. Diskin?
No, hi, everyone. I just, the passion that you have in your voices, the love and joy of, your artistry and your love for Miss Kim and the art department is so heartfelt. And I appreciate you coming here tonight, and I appreciate Miss Kim coming here tonight to help to celebrate our students. And I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, and I'm sure we will see you with signatures galore in your professional life. So congratulations to you, and thank you, Miss Kim, for coming.
Any other board members want to comment? Mr. Reddy?
Dr. Diskin kind of stole my words. I was going to say it's heartening to see the mutual admiration and respect the students and Mrs. Kim had. It's clear from both the words and how they respond to each other. I'm very happy to see that you guys found each other. And the quality of work is fantastic. My background is in engineering, but I love art, and I can see some of the influences of Gauguin and Robert Edward Hughes. I love the work that you guys presented here. I'm just curious, do you guys sell that artwork? Yes, that was my intent.
Any other comments? Mr. Fairshuden?
Yeah, I just want to add my thanks and admiration. They refer to the Paper Mill Theater as the Broadway in Millburn. I think the Guggenheim and the Met should open a Millburn wing for literally for all the amazing work that's coming out of Millburn High School, Ms. Kim, your class, and all the other teachers. So again, congratulations.
Ms.
I'd
Shivani?
like to add my congratulations and such amazing work. I know one of you who I've known since you were in 4th grade, and I remember when you were in 4th grade, you wrote, "My ambition is to become a rich artist." And I thought that was very insightful. And I hope, all of you, I wish you all the very best. And thank you, Ms. Kim, as well, and the art department. Thanks.
I'm sorry, was there a hand? Mr. Glatt?
Yes. So I just want to say that I thought all of your pieces were amazing. Congratulations on the awards. I always love walking around the halls and seeing the murals that the art department has made. And, I only joined the school last year, never had the opportunity to take an art class here, but I wish I would have. It seems amazing.
Thank you. All right. Andrew?
I have to repeat, but congratulations. UV played on my little league team when we were in baseball too, so I haven't seen you in a while, but of course, so it's incredible to see you guys, and the work is, and Miss Kim, I mean, just hands down. I mean, the number of awards, the percentage we're at against other schools, it's just out of this world universe. Credit to you and the department for taking our talented kids and lifting them up to these levels. I actually had an art portfolio in high school and took art all through the years. And I can see the quality is just phenomenal. This level of shading and detail and some of that charcoal and pencil work, UV and guys, is just, it's outrageous. So congratulations to you and the program and everyone. And by the way, we are here, Ms. Kim, to hear some of this and see some of this work. So this makes our night. So don't feel ever like bringing this kind of stuff forward. This is what we're all so proud of and so excited to see. And, to the extent we're providing the resources to make this all happen, we should be doing more because it's phenomenal work. So congratulations to everybody involved.
Miss Longer Richards?
Adding my congratulations, I'm going to say, especially to Miss Benoit, who had the pleasure of teaching music to, and I knew she was a star then, but I was so impressed with all of it. I mean, it's all just the quality of the work is so impressive, and just the thank you to Miss Kim and to all the other teachers who do take that extra time, and it's not on the clock, and it's your own time that you're giving to these students. So I just wanted to acknowledge and say thank you because I know how stretched teachers are.
All right, thank you again, Ms. Kim and students. Much appreciated for coming tonight. Moving on to the board president's report. 3 things to talk about tonight. Tomorrow is Earth Day. Happy Earth Day. There's events going on in schools and around our community. Please participate in them and do something for our environment. Second topic I wanted to mention is on teacher churn. I've heard some level of dialogue about it in the community. I haven't seen the hard stats yet, but in speaking to our head of personnel, he's kind of saying it's well within range of normal. Hopefully we get some more stats around it. I believe we've passed key dates where teachers indicate that they are coming back next year, although I believe they can resign at any time with 60-day notice, so we could still get some more than that. So just a quick comment on that, and hopefully we can put out some more stats on that shortly. And then last, I wanted to touch on negotiations. I've been getting a lot of comments, and it's a lot of community members, parents don't understand the process. So I thought I'd try to talk a little bit about that. And obviously, I can't talk about the details of the negotiation. So they continue to be ongoing. Last time I'd mentioned we're communicating via email. We did receive an email proposal from the MEA on, I think it was Wednesday, 4/16, over spring break. We aren't able to get together until tomorrow to consider that proposal, and obviously we'll continue the discussion from there. In anticipation of that, we've already reached out to the MEA and asked for future meeting dates over the upcoming weeks. So we anticipate getting together with them shortly. Since our last meeting on March 25th, I believe it was, the MEA has chosen to increase the number of actions that they're doing. Actions are tactics used by the union to show dissatisfaction or create pressure on the counterparty. They can take a variety of forms, such as doing only those things that are in the contract. Like tonight, coming to a board meeting is not a required thing, so if we ask a teacher to present, they could say no. Other things like clubs at the high school need a teacher to sponsor. My understanding is teachers have not been sponsoring new clubs that form this year as part of the actions. So there's a variety of those things. Our teachers normally do a ton of stuff over and above their contracts. We recognize that, we appreciate that. We can't say that enough, that our teachers are some of the best in the state. There is no doubt about it. So, we certainly don't fault any individual teachers for this. I'm not, begrudging what the union does, just trying to explain. So, we do acknowledge the union's right to protest. However, we feel that these actions are not necessary. We've been negotiating in good faith. It's a process. It takes time. It takes more time than any of us want. We feel like the board has consistently moved the process along, been creative with our solutions, been clear in our ask, and we thought the dialogue was good. And the action was on the MEA to present us via email with a proposal. At the same time, they increased their actions. Like if we had been holding up the process, it would be more understandable. So again, it's to create pressure. We understand that. So we knew this process would be long and drawn out. That's why out of the gate, we chose to be different and offer a one-year deal saying, hey, can we get the teachers a raise immediately while we negotiate a longer-term contract? Unfortunately, we couldn't come to terms with that, but we try. So we realized that a huge portion of the success of our district is due to our teachers. We've consistently said that as a board. We continue to act that way. We may change policies. We may change the organization. That impacts teachers. One does not have to be taking away from the other. We can do both. Our goal is to enhance the district for everybody, students, teachers, administrators. We are really trying to help everyone with the changes that we are making. So I think to sum all this up is I believe there's a deal to be had. I believe we are close. We have to kind of do this dance, make some noise. Hopefully we'll get down to negotiating. And I expect the pressure will only increase till we reach a deal. So I plead with the parents to have patience throughout the process. We are committed to concluding it as quickly as we can. Thank you. That's all I have. Dr. Diskin, Superintendent's report.
All right, well, I'm going to get the good news out there first. Not that it isn't all good news, but Memorial Day weekend. Currently, Friday, May 23rd is an early dismissal day. The district reserves 2 calendar days for emergency days. Now, that's not just snow days, that's any day. That's a hurricane, bees, earthquakes, or similar tragic events. So it is my recommendation to the board that the district give back the unused emergency day from the 24-25 calendar on May 23rd. Now, this is also already a half day, but we will make it a full day district closed. Please note that if an emergency does require us to close a school building or the district for 1 or more days, it will be added to the end of the school year to get our days in. So Memorial Day weekend will be Friday, May 23rd. District will be closed for a full day. An update on the high school principal search forum. All Millburn parents are invited to join the representatives from the search firm SEA on Tuesday, April 29th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the high school auditorium. The forum will consist of a Q&A period regarding the principal search and hear from the community what they'd like to see in the next high school principal. We are also having an ability for teachers to talk with SEA, the search firm, as well as students. So we'll have students, parents, community, and administration that will be able to speak with SEA regarding the input sessions for the high school principal. The Short Hills House Tour benefiting Millburn Township Special Services and promoting autism acceptance is Saturday, April 26th from 11 to 2. The rain date is April 27th. It's $45 a ticket. With that ticket, you will receive a light lunch, treats, and/or giveaways during the tour of our beautiful architectural designs of local available homes. The proceeds from this event will benefit Millburn Township Special Services by providing the opportunity for key district personnel to attend all of the Autism New Jersey conferences. The official state autism organization educates parents and professionals on critical topics with evidence-based information. Additionally, this year, the money raised will help support the Unified Club at MHS and the MHS Job Training Program, which helps students attain the necessary skills to become an independent and as possible in the workplace. Tickets are located on our website. There is a link, and you can also contact organizer Melanie Rosenbaum at 973-768-1818, or her email, which will be posted on our website. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Diskin. Moving on to board committee reports, student representatives report. Mr. Gladd, are you first, or? All right, Mr. Ruddy.
Hello? Okay, great. Yeah. All right. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a restful and refreshing spring break. As we return back to school, students are getting ready for the start of quarter 4 and preparing for the final stretch of the year. Tomorrow, Junior Privilege officially begins, which allows juniors to leave campus during lunch and is a big milestone everyone's been looking forward to, and one that comes with a lot of excitement and added responsibility for the junior class. We're also entering a busy couple weeks of academics, with standardized testing beginning next week and AP exams kick off the week after. Students are preparing, teachers are reviewing, and the entire school is working hard to finish the year strong. Moving on to athletics, spring sports are in full swing, and several teams are off to impressive starts. Girls golf remains undefeated at 3-0, and boys volleyball enters the week at 7-3 and was awarded the number 4 seed in the county tournament. Boys lacrosse holds a 6-2 record after wins over Nutley and Morris Hills, while girls lacrosse sits at an even 3-3 record following their recent victory over Iverton. Baseball looks to get back on track this week with 4 big games. Despite a few early results, sophomore Leo Dalton has been outstanding on the mound, pitching to a 0.47 ERA across 3 starts, and softball is now at an even 3-3 after a win over Bard, and both the boys and girls spring track teams enter the week with strong 5-2 records. Finally, the girls flag football team continues to impress with a now 3-1 record, including an upset win over Iverton and adding a win today. Rounding out the sports updates, boys tennis remains undefeated at 4-0 and is currently ranked number 7 in the state. They were recently awarded the number 2 seed in the county tournament, which also begins Tuesday. As we head into this final stretch of the school year, our students continue to work hard, both on the field and in the classroom, and we thank you for your continued support, and I look forward to sharing more updates soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Reddy? All right, moving on to governance. Ms. Shivani?
The Governance Committee met on April 17th at 1:30 p.m. Staff members present were Mr. Connolly, Dr. Diskin, Ms. Nancy Dries, Mr. Dave Bailey. Mr. Connolly left the meeting after the policy items were discussed. Board members present were Mr. Heinrichs, Mr. Brian Lawrence, myself, Priya Shivani, and Mr. Vishwa Reddy. The committee reviewed changes to Policy 5460 for graduation requirements. The policy is being revised to add clarification for math and social studies requirements. For social studies requirements, the 4-year requirement is being revised to allow students to request a waiver for a 4th year of social studies. The section related to summer courses was enhanced to add language that clarifies that students enrolled in summer courses in Millburn Township Public Schools will receive credit for their work. All these changes are being presented for first reading today. Any suggestions for modifications to the first reading should be sent to the Governance Committee. Mr. Dave Bailey presented the personnel report that is being voted on tonight. The meeting was adjourned at 2:30 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Priya Shivani.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Shivani? Moving on to program, Mr. Finkelstein.
Yep, thank you. Program had 2 committee meetings since our last board meeting. The first was Friday, April 11th at 2:30. Board members present were myself, Andrew Finkelstein, Mr. Reddy, Ms. Longley Richards, and Ms. Shivani. Staff present were Dr. Diskin, Mr. Connolly, Ms. Young, Ms. Martin, Ms. Abrams, and Ms. Graff. Ms. Abrams presented an informal review of secondary ELA. The presentation highlighted curriculum and professional development ideas for the future. There was also some suggestion and discussion of more cross-disciplinary work for ELA to work with other subject areas. The committee also discussed broadening the coursework to cover more of the NJSLA standards. Ms. Abrams also then discussed the Holocaust book donation project. The committee then had a brief discussion with Ms. Abrams and Ms. Graff about Holocaust curriculum generally. The committee then had a brief discussion with Ms. Martin about the elementary school math curriculum. The question was raised concerning popular outside math programs and if there was any value in incorporating some of those math skills into our curriculum. The committee then asked a more general view if elementary school math was meeting the students' needs. Ms. Martin was going to look into these programs and others and come back to the committee at a future date. The meeting concluded at 4 p.m. The next meeting was Thursday, April 17th at 2:30. Board members present were myself, Andrew Finkelstein, Mr. Reddy, Ms. Longley Richards, and Ms. Shivani. Staff present were Dr. Diskin and Mr. Connolly. Mr. Connolly shared a presentation of middle school grading. The committee discussed what steps, if any, should be taken to bring the middle school grading more in line with the new high school grading system. There will be ongoing work and discussion on this issue with the middle school staff and picked up by the committee on a future date. Mr. Connolly then presented some early data gathering regarding summer AP work. The committee had asked the administration how our summer AP work policies and processes compare with those of other schools. Mr. Connolly also provided a brief update on the work being done on the high school final exam structure. And then lastly, Dr. Diskin provided an update on the hiring process for the open positions in the district. The meeting concluded at 3:45 p.m. Respectfully submitted, Andrew Finkelstein.
Any questions for our program? Mr. Farashudin?
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Finkelstein, I'm pleased to hear that, program is looking at the Holocaust curriculum and the school's looking at it. I've heard from numerous parents, so I would like to hear or understand how we can kind of get some of their suggestions to program through the appropriate channels. But thank you for looking at that curriculum. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't want to speak. Obviously, we welcome parent feedback at the board and the program committee level, and our emails are online. So if anyone has, suggestions or thoughts, please reach out and email. If you're going to email, you can email myself or any of the other program committee members. Again, I think it's all online, and Mr. Connolly and Dr. Diskin to CC them as well might make sense. I think the program is run by, I don't want to speak out of turn, Mr. Connolly, but I think Ms. Graff and the humanities is kind of the point person for it. So, any feedback would go to her. So that's sort of, that's who runs that program. And Ms. Abrams from the ELA side was also getting involved as well. So the two of them, I guess, are both doing various aspects of the Holocaust curriculum. And, again, we just got a couple highlights in program, and there's more to it, but, Ms. Graff explained, I can just expound a little bit. Ms. Graff explained it's sort of it's a broader curriculum, not specifically on the events of World War II, of tolerance and, all sorts of other ideas that are wrapped into it that start at a very young age in elementary school, and then get more, age-appropriate teachings, are brought into the curriculum at various different points in different ways through the whole education process, whether there's presentations, there's speakers brought in, there's then actually curriculum done, I think, within the classroom as well. So that was sort of the summary that we got in program committee. But again, if parents have thoughts or suggestions, please forward those in, and we will, pass those along to Ms. Graff and Ms. Abrams. I don't know if anyone wants. Oh, the book donation. Yeah, Ms. Longley Richards brings up that what we discussed was a book, I think a book donation program that's being brought to the school. And so Ms. Graff and Ms. Abrams were explaining that to the board, so we sort of knew about the program before it happened. I don't know if you guys, anyone else would like to add anything. If I hope I did that justice.
Yeah, no, there was a list of maybe 30 books or so that was donated to the district for the libraries, and so the titles were all shared out with our program committee, just to bring them up to speed on what was being brought in, and then that's how we kind of evolved into a little bit of a conversation about the Holocaust and how that program and those requirements are met through our curriculum, and how it spiraled, starting at the very young ages with tolerance, and then the complexity of the content gets more and more as we go up the grade levels. One fun fact is that one of the authors on the list is a resident of town as well. So that's was another thing that we highlighted on here. So it's a similar program was followed in Westfield. So.
Any more questions for program? Ms. Bethina.
Not a question. I just wanted to thank the program committee for looking at the math curriculum at the elementary level. I think I mentioned in the previous meeting that this is kind of a big step to bring some, I think it's going to actually achieve some of our equity goals as well, to kind of bring the elementary kids, make it a lot easier so that the jump from elementary to middle school on the math curriculum and the ability to access some of the more advanced courses that we're going to start offering, the advanced tracks in the math program in the middle school will be more readily available to the incoming from elementary to middle schoolers, because of if we can kind of boost the elementary math program. So thank you for looking at that. Thank you.
All right, moving on to the next item of administrators' reports. Assistant Superintendent report, Mr. Conley.
Good evening. Earth Day celebrates its 55th anniversary tomorrow, April 22nd, 2025. And it's time to honor the planet and reflect on how we can better take care of it. This year's theme, Our Power, Our Planet, highlights the importance of renewable energy, taking action against climate change. In honor of the Earth Month, 6th grade middle school students had an educational entertainer, Bill Kerwood, who performed his interactive program, The Magic of Recycling. Students loved Mr. Kerwood's magic tricks and were hopefully inspired to reduce and reuse and recycle. At South Mountain, students are gearing up to begin spring work tomorrow with the SMS Garden. an update on our Top Chef Challenge. Millburn Middle School 7th grader Jake Elmgart has been named the Super Grand Prize winner in this year's Pomptonian Healthy School Lunch Challenge. The judges were genuinely impressed with Jake's creativity, attention to detail, and understanding of healthy cooking. He embraced the challenge and went above and beyond. We could not be prouder of his achievements. His grand prize, the Super Grand Prize winner, Jake, has earned the following honors. His winning meal, spicy smoky chicken apple bowls, will be featured in the MHS cafeteria. A banner celebrating his success has been displayed in the cafeteria, and a vertical garden for the school will be donated. On May 7th, Pomptonian will have his meal as a demo and will receive his award at the middle school, during his lunch period. Congratulations, Jake. Inspiring artists. Congratulations to our Inspired Minds winners. 20 Millburn High School students have been selected to be part of this year's Inspired Minds expedition at the SOPAC in South Orange. The panel received nearly 1,000 submissions from this hundreds of talented high school artists across 27 high schools in and around Essex County. Obanua Frimpoa received the 2025 Paul Bartwick Emerging Artist Award, the highest honor the panel can give within this show. More kudos to some of our younger artists from South Mountain and Deerfield schools whose art was selected to be displayed at the Essex County Art Show. Congratulations to Liam Chang, Aria Golati, Julian Zoe from Deerfield, Kevin Zoe, Samoa Johnson, and Vera Hellmeyer from South Mountain. And then finally, New Jersey State DAR, which is Daughter of the American Revolution essay contest. Congratulations to Aaron Pakar for winning first place in the New Jersey State American History Essay Contest, an organization by the National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution, or DAR, for his Revolutionary War essay, a remarkable state achievement in national efforts to promote American history among students. And just a fun fact, when I was in 5th grade, I won that award.
Thank you, Mr. Connolly. Business Administrator's report. Ms. Schneider.
So before I start my report, just with the comments recognizing Earth Day, I do want to update the board. I believe Finance and Facilities is aware of this, but we have submitted to the state for a grant to complete an energy audit, district-wide energy audit. All of that information has been submitted. It's been a number of years since we've done a district-wide audit for energy usage. So we're hoping to hear back shortly that that's taking place and to get an update on that status, as well as to start to see the results. But all of our utility bills have been gathered by both with the business office and the Buildings and Grounds Department. A lot of gathering of information has been submitted to the state, and we're just waiting for that review. So in honor of Earth Day, looking forward to hearing back on that. For my report itself, as reported at the last meeting, the county has approved the 25-26 preliminary budget and has given us the approval to advertise. The budget will be advertised in this week's edition of the item for public review. But again, I remind everyone the consolidated budget handout that was shared in March is available on the district website with additional account line details beyond what is in the public advertisement. The budget hearing is scheduled to take place as part of our next regular board meeting on May 5th. The May 19th meeting will be our annual organizational meeting where a number of our annual contracts are renewed. In order to prepare for staffing, on tonight's agenda is the renewal for the before and after care program run by Alphabest to use our facilities again next year. This is a private program, not a district program, but we approve their use of our buildings as a convenience to our families. They currently are running programs at Deerfield, Hartshorne, South Mountain, and Wyoming. We will be coordinating with Alphabest to send surveys to the schools with lower enrollments to confirm interest in the program for next year at each location. Alphabest is committed to continuing the program at each of these schools as long as families are interested. We are also coordinating discussions with current administration and next year's principals to get feedback on the program for both continuity and for enhancements. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Schneider, and thank you for doing the audit. No audit is fun, but hopefully that will give some meaningful results. Moving on to public comments, please state your name and address for the record. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Responses to questions and comments will be posted to the district website before the next board meeting or within 10 school days.
Road. Today's agenda, once again, includes proposed additional changes to Policy 5460, a policy this board just revised and approved in February. You have claimed that these changes are based on the guidance and expertise of Strauss Esme. However, the pattern we're observing suggests that some policies are being amended not out of necessity, but rather in an apparent attempt to influence the outcome of ongoing litigation. It is difficult to believe that an esteemed institution like Strauss Esme would recommend changes to a policy, have them approved by this board in 2 readings, and then mere weeks later conclude that these revisions were not what was intended. If that truly is the case, it raises questions about whether Strauss Esme is the right firm to advise this district. We want to go on the record again to state our firm opposition to any changes to policies that are exhibits in litigation. It appears that the attorney representing the board in court and making decisions on your behalf, not Mr. Tabakin, is unaware of the objections we have voiced publicly each time the board has taken steps which could be perceived as tampering with evidence. These actions raise serious concerns about due process and potential violations of the School Ethics Act. Recent attempts by the board to publicly shame community members who have spoken out about unethical decisions will not silence families advocating for the educational welfare and well-being of their children. This community will not be intimidated. Our community should also be aware of circulating reports that formal complaints alleging violations of the Code of Ethics for School Board members have been filed with the New Jersey Department of Education and are currently under review by the Ethics Commission. Whether or not these rumors are true, the board is in the best position to confirm or deny them. Regardless, our community deserves transparency and must remain alert to any such investigations. We have seen the departures of some of our most talented principals, administrators, and demotion of department chairs. Teachers are voicing their dissatisfaction and reaching out for support. Our students are speaking up, advocating for the educators who support them daily. If these ethics complaints are substantiated, we must ask, what will become of this Board of Education and what will be the future of our school district? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Glass.
Jeffrey Feld, 11 Alexander Lane, Short Hills, New Jersey. I have 4 points. I'll probably get to my last point at the second reading. As to the meeting on Tuesday, I hope the whole community is invited to it, because all I hear is parents. There are, I think, other people like myself would like to attend, but the way it's presented, it's parents always. You know, there's a larger community that has an interest in our school system. As to the next, heads up questions as to the budget, and that you might be able to give a schedule, so I'm giving you a little heads up about it. Maybe like the population trends. I know this sometimes we might be seeing it on the notice that's published this Thursday, but one of the things I have has been, is there a continued migration to private schools? Because last year there was a large exodus. The amount of attorney's fees that we've been paying since January 1, 2024. And if we could have a little breakout, how much has been dedicated to labor negotiations, the reorganization, and the various litigation, because the township committee does break out, you know, how those costs are. When I talk about the enhancement reorganization, when you look at the yellow sheets, some of our members are really going on garden leave, that their really retirement doesn't occur till next March. And I think the public should know, are we paying double for certain services, you know, as to a labor cost that we're having because of the garden leave? And then if certain people are getting a severance on July 1st, Is that going to be a lump sum, or is that going to be broken out over years? Because this is some kind of issue that occurs in a lot of different types of municipal budgeting. Also, I think the public really should understand that the state capped the loss of our state funding at 3%. It could have been greater. And I think the public should understand what could be the future aspects. So a lot of other municipalities are getting destroyed in this budget system. Zach, this is really a shout out to you and your class to help to build the community spirit. At the last meeting, one of the students who spoke about psychology, I went out and met him. He's going to Penn. I introduced him because I'm a Penn undergraduate. Welcome to the family. But I asked him if he was registered to vote. Please maybe make announcements that if you're 18 years old, register to vote. Because as Loretta Weinberg said, she's a senator, 90 years old, the future is based on you. When I say you, your generation, that you have to start going to the ballot, voting. Also, please interview Dr. Myron and Dr. Siegel. Record it. They are historical figures, especially Dr. Myron. He started here as a student. And he could talk about Millburn Deli, butter, but get the insight from him about how the educational system has changed. If I could have maybe one more minute just to finish.
There's nobody behind you, so take another minute or two.
And also to interview your classmates. Ask them who was the most influential teacher that they had and why. It might have been an elementary teacher, it might have been someone in middle school, because that will help us and the board and even other teachers about what inspired them. And this is my crazy idea, because we're trying to build that community. Ask the students and the teachers what type of high school movie really portrayed their history here. Was it Mean Girls? For me, it was Dazed and Confused, because that's when I graduated high school. And I get, that summer of 1976, and we did have a Dazed and Confused graduation party at the Knights of Columbus. Is it The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Days Off, Risky Business, High School Musical, 16 Candles, or Heathers? Because part of the community is that when we talk about movies, that there's an idiom that we share. And just that I and other people can understand what your generation thinks, what movie really reflected your experience in the Millburn High School. I'll come back on my fourth point at the second time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Feld.
Sunny Paturi, 12 Meadhurst Road. I'm here to talk about the math pathways and pathways in general. I'm very grateful that you guys are looking into it, BOE is looking into it. And I think making the social studies for 3 years requirement and making the 4th year optional is very helpful, because that actually gives the kids who are STEM oriented a chance to pursue another course in STEM, which is what our school is lagging behind if you see Ivy League admissions or any good admissions for STEM. So our county doesn't have a magnet school, so our top kids have no chance to go to any other school, so they remain at our school, which is a good thing, but that also means we have to support all throughout the spectrum, the kids that are lagging behind and the kids that are ahead. So, and I think one student could be lagging behind in one subject and could be ahead in another subject. So nobody's perfect at anything. So I think it's important to look at the pathways and then allow some flexibility in the classes that the students excel in, and then allow them to fall back if they need to in the classes they find it challenging. So and I think it's going in a good direction, and it's a good thing that Jen brought it up, that you guys are looking into it starting from the elementary, because a lot of kids that I know have gotten really bored at elementary, and middle school it starts getting a little bit faster, but then by the time they get to high school, almost everyone faces a problem, not because they can't really do the curriculum, but the sheer amount of it. So I think the amount of homework is a lot, but probably it's needed. I'm not saying it's not needed. But there are kids who are falling behind. We have to address that. When there are kids that are really excelling, we have to give them opportunities to do certain things. Because if I think a lot of parents presented in the past, they told me that their research was discarded, but I'm sure there are a lot of other priorities. So our school is lagging behind other top public schools in STEM, especially math and science and other things. And I think we should allow the kids to progress and probably give an option to skip if they have, if they demonstrate a proficiency in some way or the other. One of the things that many parents presented in the past was, if a kid passes AP, gets a 4 or 5, and the colleges are allowing it to skip that level, and our school is not. And that is very surprising to me, why we should do that at all. So if it is good for colleges, it should be good for our school. I think it's all going in the right direction, and I'm very thankful for the current board for doing all these changes, although I'm very sad to see Dr. Myron leaving. He's not here. And I know it's not a very easy task to recruit everyone, and I'm glad that we got some elementary principals recruited, and they came from within our school. I think community is happy about that. Some of our concerns are set to rest on that. So I think the communication is very important, and the transparency. And it's a good thing that on Tuesday, next Tuesday, you're doing taking the community input. I think more sessions like that would help. That's all it is. And I'm glad to see Dr. Diskin, your leg healed. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. All right, we don't have any discussion items tonight. Moving on to board action items. Item 1, instruction agenda items. Any carve-outs? Can I have a motion to move instruction agenda items M1A through E in consent agenda format? Mr. Farashudin, Mr. Lawrence can second. All in favor? Can I have a motion to approve instruction agenda items M1A through E in consent agenda format? Mr. Finkelstein, Ms. Longer-Richards can second. A, resolve to affirm the superintendent's recommendation of the HIB investigations for the period of 3/10/25 to 3/24/25. B, resolve to approve professional development requests. C, resolve to approve service contracts with Educational Services Commission of Morris County for the 25-26 school year for professional support services. D, resolve to approve the annual tuition and program rates for the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey for the 2025 through 2026 school year. Resolve to approve out-of-district special education placements for the remainder of the 2025 through 2026 school year, or 2025 school year, excuse me. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Bethina?
Yes.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Mr. Farashudin?
Yes.
Mr. Finkelstein?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Ms. Longley-Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Reddy?
Yes.
Ms. Shivani?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 2, personnel agenda items. Can I have a motion to approve the personnel report dated April 21, 2025? Ms. Shivani, Ms. Bethina can second. Resolve to approve the personnel report dated April 21, 2025. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Mr. Farashudin?
Yes.
Mr. Finkelstein?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Ms. Longley-Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Reddy?
Yes.
Ms. Bethina?
Yes.
Ms. Shivani?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Before we move on, Dr. Diskin, do you have any comments?
Yes, I'd just like to recognize the retirement of our social studies teacher at the high school, Regina Conlon, and wish her, she's had 29 years here in the Millburn School District, and we wish her the very, very best in her retirement.
Thank you. Item 3, business agenda items. Any carve-outs? Can I have a motion to move business agenda items M3A through F in consent agenda format? Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Farashudin can second. All in favor? Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve business agenda items M3A through F in consent agenda format? Mr. Finkelstein, Ms. Bethina can second. A, resolve to approve the budget transfers of March 2025. B, resolve to approve treasurer of school monies report for period ending March 31, 2025. C, resolve approval and certification of board secretary's report for period ending March 31, 2025. D, resolve certification that, to the best of the board's knowledge, no major account or fund has been overexpensed and that sufficient funds are available to meet the district's financial obligations for the remainder of the fiscal year. E, resolve to approve bill schedule number 11. F, resolve to approve the first renewal of the contract with Alphabest Education for the school year 2025 to 2026. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Farashudin?
Yes.
Mr. Finkelstein?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Reddy?
Yes.
Ms. Bethina?
Yes.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Ms. Shavani?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 4, policy agenda items. Any carve-outs? Can I have a motion to move policy agenda items M4A through C in consent agenda format? Ms. Shavani, Mr. Lawrence, can second? All in favor? Can I have a motion to approve policy agenda items M4A through C in consent agenda format? Mr. Reddy, Mr. Finkelstein can second. First and second reading, approval of policies, regulations as listed below. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Finkelstein?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Ms. Longley Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Reddy?
Yes.
Ms. Bethina?
Yes.
Mr. Bigman?
Yes.
Mr. Farashudin?
Yes.
Ms. Shavani?
Yes.
Mr. Heinrichs?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Any old business? Any new business? Second round of public comments. Same rules as the first time. Please state your name and address for the records. Limit to 3 minutes. Responses and comments will be posted to the district website.
Jeffrey Phil, I'll be very brief. As another item for what we have the budget hearing, if you can also give us an idea, because even tonight you transferred about $1.8 million, that we have an idea of how much monies was transferred over the school year next time. You know, was it like $5 million, which is almost 5% of around $100 million budget, so we have an idea. Just giving you like a heads up idea. My final really comment was a statement that was made by the State Attorney General yesterday in an interview in the Star Ledger, where he describes the role of an attorney. That either you're going to be doing social engineer or you're going to be a parasite. And for the Attorney General to describe some lawyers as a parasite, that's a very harsh and strong term. The reason I mention this, the day after our last meeting, we had a case management conference. I made a suggestion to the judge. Why can't we meet with the interim middle school superintendent maybe to talk about the situation? The attorney, without consulting its client, said no way. I've never been in a situation where an attorney stands up without consulting his client and saying that they will never get into a room. They'd rather litigate and not mediate a situation. That's the policy that they took downtown regarding the SID. It's going to come back to bite them. When a judge tells you to mediate, you want to litigate using public monies, your fiduciaries, I would look into that. In addition, the attorney made a representation to the court, and it's the first time I ever heard it, that prior to my involvement, which occurred in mid-January, the family made a proposal, not that the board rejected, but the new superintendent rejected. I was shocked to hear that. I'm just putting you on notice. In addition, last week, I received a letter with no return address on it. 2 other people received the same letter had a schedule of ethics complaints being filed against various members of this current board. I was shocked to receive that. I don't know why I received this. Do not discount what she said before. It did happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Feld. All right, moving on. Board member comments? Do we have any comments? Mr. Finkelstein?
Maybe we can just clarify quickly, Dr. Diskin, the parent feedback sessions are for community members also?
Yes, another flyer will be going out this week. Both parents and community members are certainly invited. That's K through 12, open to the community members. I heard Millburn Deli is going to be there. No, I'm just kidding. But everyone is welcome to attend. It'll be held in the high school auditorium at 7 p.m.
Mr. Finkelstein again?
Yeah, just to address one of the other, we're not supposed to address comments directly, but, you know, I think the administration has opened up some new pathways, as was brought up, certainly for the high end, and math in particular has gone, you know, pretty, you know, done an incredible amount of work and research to roll out a double accelerated program, which would, from my knowledge, match any high school in the state. So we would be on par with everyone that are even offering such a program. So we're moving pretty swiftly into that double accelerated program, and with on-ramps at different points in time for kids as they develop, which has been the ask. So there's lots of different opportunities for math that are expanding pretty quickly. In science, from what I can see, I don't know if we were behind because we were one of the few schools that offered AP classes to sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So in some ways we were ahead. In some ways we were behind in that we probably didn't broaden it up to as many seniors as we could, but then we've changed that as well recently. So again, as far as I know, but if anyone has specific ideas, they're more than welcome to send them, but we're not behind in science at all. I think on the, you know, moving ahead in AP land, you know, there have been a couple emails that have gone around. Look, there is obviously, you know, the College Board has their curriculum, and, you know, I certainly believe personally that, you know, where appropriate, we should, you know, be following what they're doing. Of course, that makes a ton of sense. There may be a new AP class, like AP Pre-Calculus, that was just invented a year ago that maybe only covers the first 2 or 3 months of our pre-calculus class, that maybe doesn't prepare kids for our and their calculus classes the way they like. It's brand new. We don't know yet. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it's brand new. So I think we have to just be thoughtful, and we have to look at these kind of things and not just say we're going to skip a year of pre-calculus and now go to a triple accelerated course and start giving calculus to kids in sophomore year. Not that there aren't some Millburn kids that probably can handle that. I'm sure there are some special gifted, you know, people that can do something like that. But to move to do that in the school without, you know, more review and thought, I'm not sure that that would be appropriate at this point. Maybe it will be, but I think we've done a lot to move ourselves ahead and to capture a lot of what the community was asking for. And I think we just have to give a little thought to some of these more recent asks that have come up. But again, open to ideas and suggestions and worth some thought, but I don't think they're not all so obvious, in my opinion. And we did receive comments. Obviously, some of these things have been brought to the school, and we're obviously receiving the comments from the teachers and the department chairs and our directors and our administration is who we're receiving the feedback from. And again, I think some of these newer things there's a learning process for newer classes that are being invented, that we have to go through it a few times and see what it's all about. So I think that's something just to keep in mind.
Thank you, Mr. Finkelstein. Mr. Reddy?
Thank you, Mr. Hendricks. In some of the audience comments, there were troubling allegations made. I understand 3 minutes is too short, and it's not enough to provide the detail. Maybe a better way to communicate to the board is an email to the board president or the entire board itself, with maybe more clarity and evidence of some of these allegations that would be more effective in, otherwise it seems like a campaign of, and not that I'm saying somebody's intent is that, but it seems a little bit on the side of innuendo. I would request that whoever has information provide that in a more detailed and clear manner in an email. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Ms. Shivani?
Yeah, I kind of want to also remind the community a little bit about the role of the board as far as policy making is concerned. I think the board, of course, as far as policies are concerned, we are mandated to implement the recommendations that come from Strauss-Esme. Strauss-Esme provides their services to hundreds of schools in New Jersey. I don't know the exact number, but I think it's 500 plus. So they are a very trusted advisor and experts in their field. In addition to their recommendations, the board is also responsible for evaluating the effectiveness of the policies and the implementation. I also want to remind everyone that 5460, the graduation requirements, this is not the first time that it has come up for discussion. As we make progress in the program committee work that we are doing, we need to ensure that the policy 5460 sometimes has to be updated or revised in accordance with the outcomes of the program committee conversations. So this was not the first time that 5460 has come up. This probably won't be the last time. Thank you.
Any other comments? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. I'd like to address suggestions made for our interviews at Studio 462. We have, in fact, interviewed Dr. Myron in the past. Nancy Siegel would be a great person to interview, and your suggestion for the students. We do a weekly topic where we interview random students. That can be possibly our weekly topic next week. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss collective bargaining and personnel matters? Mr. Bigman, Mr. Farashudin can second. The discussion on this topic will be disclosed to the public at the next public meeting of the board or as soon thereafter as circumstances and nature of the subject permits. All in favor? We are in exec.